Today I'm going to start a new series. We are going to make a series of basic barista courses using different types of brewing methods and also different types of espresso machines. For this episode, I'm going to show you how to make classic hot and iced coffee drinks using budget machines. Cosmo X1 single group espresso machine and Cosmo MX800 on-demand coffee grinder. Both are made in China with Italian pumps. The total package is about US dollars 1,500 or Philippine pesos 80,000, Thai baht 50,000. For this, I'm going to use my medium to dark roast coffee beans. This is 100% Arabica, single origin. I'm going to use fresh milk. You can always change your milk with other options like plant-based milk. For my sweetener, I'm going to use my milk syrup, which is a combination of sweetened condensed milk and evaporated milk. All these recipes and tips and techniques are in my book, The Basic Barista. We now are in the process of printing the second edition of this book, but if you are planning to buy this book, you can now purchase them on Amazon. They are available on Kindle, paperback, and hardcover edition. Let's take a quick look at the features of Cosmo X1. The body is full stainless steel, mirror housing. This is the pressure gauge, which shows you the pressure when you pull your shots. This is the hot water button, single shot button, double shot button, and the manual flow button. The manual flow button allows you to pull a shorter or longer shots of espresso depending on your recipes. This display shows the temperature and also serves as a shot timer display so you know exactly how long your shot is taking. All these buttons are programmable and may be reset to default at any time. The machine comes with 58mm filter baskets, single and double. This is the steam wand with 3 holes to allow for a regulated steaming of your milk. The top serves as a cup warmer, and the removable water tank has a capacity of 2 liters. To see the full function of this machine, please check out the video link above. Now, for the grinder, this one is an on-demand grinder. Again, it is programmable, so you turn it on and you can program for single shot and double shot, and this is for manual flow as well. At the moment, I have already programmed this. If you'd like to see the full features of this grinder, do check out the video link above. So I'm going to start by making my hot drinks. We're going to start with piccolo latte. For piccolo latte, I normally use 1 shot of espresso. So I'm going to pull a double shot of espresso. The way I have programmed this machine is my single shot is good for double shot, 18 grams of coffee beans. And for this one, I programmed it for 20 grams of coffee beans. That is good for my iced coffee with 22 ounces cup. So here I have my ground coffee. This would be about 18 grams. So I would use my WDT here to distribute the grinds evenly. And I have here a ripple tamper, which looks good, but I'm not sure whether it actually helps to get a better extraction. But anyway, I really love using this one. So tamp, and then we are going to pull the espresso shots. So if you look here, there is a ripple shape there, which should help the extraction process according to the literature, but I'm not exactly sure whether that works exactly as they say. As far as I'm concerned, I can pull good shots of espresso using this machine. Okay, so for this I'm going to pull 2 shots, one for my piccolo latte and one for my espresso. Okay, so I'm going to press this double shot button. So now I have here my espresso shot ready to serve. So this is 1 shot of espresso using this machine. So 1 down. For my piccolo latte, because this is 4 to 4.5 ounce, I'm going to use a small steaming pitcher here. Always fill your jug just below the bottom of the spout here. Get a damp cloth and purge your steam wine. Wipe it so that there is no leftover milk from a previous steaming. I'm going to see whether the steaming function of this machine is good enough. So every time after you steam, make sure you wipe the wand and purge. And there is my piccolo latte using this espresso machine. Next, I'm going to make a cortado. Cortado is typically about 6 ounces cup, so this one is slightly bigger than a piccolo latte. And what I need here is a double shot of espresso and an equal amount of milk. Okay, so if you have a needle stirrer, it helps to distribute the grounds evenly. Just tap the sides, and then I'm going to use my WDT to distribute the grinds evenly and then temp. Okay, so this is the ripple temper again. You've got beautiful ripple there. And now to pull my double shot of espresso. Okay, so this one is the timer here. Let's see how long it will take. And the pressure gauge is showing the right amount there. So I'm aiming to pull this within 35 seconds and over 25 seconds. For the milk, when you steam, make sure that you also get a cold jug so that you can get a better texture of your milk. Okay? Usually, whilst you're pulling, you can steam your milk. The steaming function of this machine is very quiet, which I really like. Okay, so there is my steamed milk, very smooth. If you see large bubbles up there, all you have to do is to tap to get rid of the bubbles. And now I'm going to pour this into my double shot of espresso. Okay, so this is my cortado. Next, I'm going to make a latte. For the latte, I'm going to use the same size with my cortado, 6 ounces, and also I'm going to make a cappuccino. For the cappuccino, I'm going to use a slightly bigger one. This is 6.5 to 7 ounces. Grind my coffee beans. Okay, it's always very messy here. Once you program your grinder, it's a lot easier for you to work it. Okay, but then if you want it to be consistent, you still have to measure your ground coffee. Okay, so there you go. And now to distribute and temp. Make sure the sides are clean, and we can now pull our espresso shots. For my latte and cappuccino, I'm going to use 2 single shots of espresso. Let's look at the gauge. It should go higher, so that's perfect there. Okay, so these are my 2 shots of espresso, 1 for my latte and 1 for my cappuccino. For the latte, you're aiming to get a micro foam, not very thick milk foam. Okay? And make sure that your milk is warm. You don't want it to be lukewarm, because when people ask for hot drink, they want it to be hot. When you're working, make sure your workspace is always clean. So I'm just going to dump this. And I'm going to pull my last double shot of espresso for my mocha and my cappuccino. Always turn off your grinder every time after you use it. And now I'm going to use my needle stirrer. Tap around the sides and WDT and tap. Make sure the sides are clean all the time. Now we're going to pull our shots. Always purge before you pull your next shot. The larger cup is for my cappuccino and the smaller cup is for my mocha. For the cappuccino, you need to have just 1, 2, and you need to put your foam, a thick foam. Okay? Cappuccino. For the mocha, you need to put some chocolate syrup. Okay, and this is your mocha. Now that we have made all our hot drinks, let's go to part 2 of our basic barista, and it is making iced drinks. These are 16 ounces cups, and for this I normally use 18 grams of coffee beans and I pull 60 grams of espresso, double shot of espresso. For some, I pull a lungo espresso, and if you read my book, you will see lungo espresso or just espresso. For lungo espresso, I could pull up to 90 grams or 3 ounces of espresso. And for a special recipe I call ASEAN, which is very popular in Thailand, I pull an even longer shot, 4 ounces or 120 grams of espresso. So I'm going to start with the first drink, which is Ice Americano. For the Ice Americano, I'm going to use 18 grams of coffee beans, and so I'm going to use my needle stirrer there. WDT and temp. You don't have to temp it very heavily, just like temping, and you should be able to get your double shot of espresso nice and clean. Okay? I'm going to pull this into my measuring cup. Okay, so this is my 2 shots of espresso. And now let's make our Ice Americano 16 ounces. I have here an ice portion cup, which is good for 16 ounces. So I'm going to use this one. Okay, and if you really want to measure the water, I would use about 120 ml or 4 ounces of water there. And then you can pour your espresso shot over. If you'd like to keep the crema on top, pour it very quickly and you'll see the crema on top. And this is your Ice Americano using 16 ounces and Cosmo X1. For the second drink, I'm going to make ASEAN. ASEAN is very popular in Thailand, and to be honest, it is quite delicious, quite addictive actually, so you might wish to give this a try. It is a very strong long shot of espresso. So first I'm going to clean my basket here. We're going to pull another 18 grams of coffee. Okay, I feel like there's a lot there. So I use this dosing funnel and then use the needle stirrer. WD-T and temp. Make sure the sides are clean, and now we're going to pull our lungo espresso. It's going to be 120 grams or 4 ounces, a very, very long shot. I'm going to need a bigger measuring cup here, okay? So this could take a long time. I'm going to use the manual flow here, so I'm going to stop it at 120 grams. Pressure is good, is more than 9 bars. Okay, pulled 120 grams of espresso. Long shot, but it is looking really good here. The smell of coffee is just perfect. Okay, so don't forget to dump your puck here and clean your filter basket. Okay, I'm going to park it in my group head. And now let's make our Essien. For Essien and 16 ounces cup, I'm going to use my milk syrup. Milk syrup, for those that do not know, is a combination of sweetened condensed milk and evaporated milk. This one is using 2 parts condensed milk and 1 part evaporated milk. So this is 100% sweetness level. You can change the proportion depending on your preferences. In my book, you will see all the different proportions, whether you'd like it to be 100%, 75%, 50%, 25%, or even 0%. Okay, so this is 100% sweetness level. What I need here will be ice and the milk syrup. So I'm going to fill my cup with ice. Okay, now because there's a lot of coffee in here, I'm going to start with the coffee. So that's 120 grams of a very long shot of espresso. Okay. Add a bit more ice. Well, actually, you really want to fill this to the top with ice. And then what I'm going to do is to add 60 grams of my milk syrup. You can use a scale to measure it, or you can also use a measuring cup. Okay. 60 grams or 60 ml of my milk syrup. Okay, so 2 ounces or 60 ml of my milk syrup here, and this is my Essien second drink. Okay, now next drink I'm going to make a latte. Okay, for the latte I'm going to use just plain 2 shots of espresso, 60 grams, nothing more. Okay, so once again I'm going to pull a double shot of espresso from 18 grams of coffee beans. And this time 60 grams of espresso, I'm going to aim for 25 to 35 seconds. The pressure is good. Let's watch the time. The flow of the coffee is good. This machine is actually quite perfect. I mean, so easy to use for such a price. Okay, it's very budget friendly, and yet it produces good quality of espresso. Okay, so that's 35. I'm just going to stop it there, and I don't want it to be over extracted, so I've got my 2 shots or 60 grams of espresso there. For the latte, my recipe is simple, or maybe not so simple. What I do is I use fresh milk. I'm going to add 2 ounces of my fresh milk into the glass there, straight into the glass, or you can mix it in another measuring cup, that's fine. I'm going to take off this lid because it's flowing rather slowly. I'm also going to match it with 2 ounces or 60 ml of my milk syrup. There you go. I am making a bit of a mess here, so let me just wipe my workspace here. Then I'm going to just make sure they are well combined. Ice using my portion cup. Oops. And now to pour your espresso shots. I would say pour it fast so as to get that crema there. Okay? And there is my iced latte using 60 grams of espresso, 18 grams of coffee beans, and also my mixture of fresh milk and milk syrup. Okay, on to our fourth drink. The fourth drink, I'm going to make a caramel latte macchiato. So it's going to be with caramel and also with milk foam on top. Now for the milk foam, I am going to use a technique which is something that I think would be quite useful if you only have an espresso machine and you don't want to use an external milk frother and also get that cold milk foam. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a cold milk here, and I need to put ice here so that when I use the steaming function of my Cosmo machine, it will not be very hot. So check out the video link above if you haven't yet seen how to make cold milk foam using the espresso machine. Okay, so first I am going to pull my espresso shot, and for this one, this is a caramel latte macchiato. I'm going to need 60 grams of espresso from 18 grams of coffee beans. Once you program your grinder, it's a lot easier for you to work it, so you don't have to worry about how much it is, but sometimes it still gives you more than you expected, or sometimes it's less. Once you're doing this a lot, then you can actually estimate whether it's over or under. Okay, so I think this one is a lot more than I want it to be, so I'm going to just reduce that, and again I'm going to use my stirrer here to distribute until the bottom of the basket. Shake to level it, and then WDT and temp. Okay, so I think that the ripple temper does help in making sure that I get an even extraction and there's no channeling. Okay, so this time I also need 60 grams of espresso. Okay, it's very good pressure here, over 9 bars. The time 31, 33, 34. I'm going to stop it here. Okay, so that's 2 shots of espresso. You don't have to wait for the program. You can actually see it if you're using a shot glass here. And this is my 60 grams of espresso. And I'm just going to dump this and clean. Because this is going to be a latte macchiato, I need a milk foam. Okay, so this is when I need to make cold milk foam. Okay, and to make cold milk foam, I'm going to use cold milk and then add a little bit of ice in there. Okay, so I'm going to put some ice in my pitcher here, and then I'm going to use the steaming function of this Cosmo X1 to make my cold milk foam. To get a lot of foam, keep the tip of your wand just about the surface of the milk all the time so that you inject a lot of air and it doesn't get hot at the bottom. Keep pulling it down. Okay, and that's it. I now have my cold milk foam, and as you can see, it's not hot at all. And for this, I am going to need 45 ml of my milk syrup. It's going to be less than the latte earlier because I'm going to add caramel. Okay, and then I'm going to add 60 ml of my fresh milk, and here's the caramel part. I'm going to use caramel syrup here. I need about 15. 1 pump is 5 ml, so I put 3 pumps there, 15 ml of my caramel syrup, stir, and now I'm going to add my ice here. If you are using those plastic cups, it's a lot easier to pour your ice into your cup. This one has got a smaller rim, so it tends to spill out of the cup. Okay, so this is my caramel latte mix, and then to pour my espresso shot over. To make it a macchiato, we need to add a thin milk foam on top, and finally top it up with some caramel sauce. Caramel macchiato using 16-ounce cup and Cosmo X1. Finally, we are going to make iced mocha. For this, I'm going to use another 60 grams of espresso, so 18 grams of coffee beans in, and 60 grams of espresso out. Always check the pressure of your shot and make sure that you pull your espresso shots within a specific time frame. You don't want it to be under extracted because it will taste sour, and you don't want it to be over extracted either because it will taste bitter. So my target is always within 25 to 35 seconds, and this is exactly 35 seconds. Perfect. Now let's assemble our drink. I need 2 ounces of fresh milk, or 60 ml, 2 ounces of my milk syrup because you'd like it to be sweet. This is a mocha, plus about half an ounce or 15 ml of chocolate syrup. If you're using chocolate powder, then add about 1 tablespoon of chocolate powder. But the powder will not dissolve in your cold milk, so you must mix the powder with your espresso shots. Try to combine, fill your cup with ice, and make sure it's cold. And we're going to pour the espresso shots over. And this is iced mocha. That concludes our Basic Barista 101 for making hot espresso drinks and iced espresso drinks using Cosmo X1 and this on-demand grinder. Overall, I would say that this machine is quite functional, easy to use. It also pulls very good espresso shots, and when you pull your espresso shots, sometimes even if you programmed it with 60 grams or say 50 grams or 45 grams, it probably is better to use the manual flow so that you know exactly when to stop, and you can also monitor the time. So if it's over extracting, you can stop your extraction process. So, well, I am not going to try the hot drinks because by now they are already cold, and so I'm going to just try the iced drinks. Okay, let's start with my Americano. Good. It is not bitter at all, and I would say it gives me the exact taste profile of my coffee, which is the nutty caramel chocolate flavor. And with this one, you don't need to add any sugar at all. Now, I'm not sure which one is which now for all of these, but I think that this one is my Asian, the strongest of them all. So when you stir the drink, try and stir it without spilling the ice. You will see this dark color. This is 120 grams of espresso. Very strong coffee. Wow. A little bit of bitterness there, maybe because of the time that it took to extract that coffee. This one is my mocha. I could see that the chocolate color at the bottom, and then the color of this one is perfect. Oh, that is really good. Taste of mocha. And for my caramel latte, again, when you stir You get that really beautiful color of the coffee. Wow, and the texture is really good. And this is what happens when you use my milk syrup. This is a combination of 3 different types of milk. You have evaporated milk, condensed milk, and the fresh milk. And that is the secret to this drink. Wow, that is delicious. Monin caramel syrup, delicious. And finally, the last but not the least, this is my plain latte. Again, when you stir it, you get a beautiful color. I keep spilling ice all over the place here. I love the color of this one. This is not pale at all, and that means to say it will be good. Wow, and it is perfect. So if you're looking for a budget espresso machine to start your coffee shop with, look no further than this combination. I would recommend this for those that are looking at a capacity of about 100 cups per day. If you're going for more than that, I would suggest that you get a bigger machine, something with 2 group heads like this one. I hope that this video clip is useful for all of those that are looking for budget espresso machines and starting a coffee shop on a budget level. If you have any questions at all, do let me know in the comment below. Also, check out my book, The Basic Barista. The 2nd edition is bigger, better, and more concise. So do check out the description box below for details on how to order. In the meantime, stay safe, stay tuned. Thank you for watching. Ciao for now.